Here on the Michael Fiscel farm here near the Rock Creek. And this was the site. This is going to be the Michael Fiscel farm, part 5, our final part. And this was the site of the tented hospital. Now, the Michael Fiscel farm sat just over this ridge here, the barn and the house to the next of it. So we shot our first video from where the old site of the barn and the house was. Then the second video was shot just a little behind it with a witness tree. The third video was shot along Golden Road where the marker, the field hospital marker was. And then my fourth video, which was very short, that was the video of the U.S. belt plate that was found. That was actually shot at this house up at the top of the hill, which is owned by the family named Golden, who sold the property to the current owners. And it was in their family from around 1929 to 1992. And Mrs. Golden was the one that was kind enough to share with me and now with everybody here on Gettysburg Battlefield Facebook the U.S. belt plate. This is something that is exclusive to our friends and members. Probably never get a chance to see it. Also, she was kind enough to share with me, add to my personal collection, and now I'm going to share it with all of you, photographs near the end of the life of the barn. Now, the house itself was torn down around 1917, the house that sat where the 18th hole is today. Now, when the soldiers were brought to the Michael Fiscel farm, the tented field hospital triage area was all out here right along the side of the creek. This makes sense because it was in a meadow. It was close to a water source. As severe operations were needed, amputations, and so those men were moved up toward the household in the barn. Now, she shared and actually gave me duplicate copies of photographs of the Michael Fiscel barn. In February of 1992, there was a large 2.5-foot snowstorm that hit Pennsylvania, and that's what collapsed the barn. And then they sold the property in August of 1993. And here's some of the photographs I put along the Rock Creek Bridge here. This is as the barn is being torn down here. This is the picture of the collapsed roof in June of 1993. This next picture here is also a portion of the collapsed roof. And then this is the barn in 1990 before the collapsing. There's another photograph here. And again, you can see the dilapidated condition of the barn as it was near the end of its life. And again, here's another picture of the collapse. And some of these photographs you can actually see. These were in March, I believe, she told me, and this was as that huge snowstorm in February began to melt away. That was the remnants of the last snow, which finally would destroy the barn. And of course, later in the summer, the barn was torn down. And they also backed the current owner's story that there was a possibility that barn being saved if the National Park Service could have come forth with funds or had an organization such as the Civil War Preservation Trust come up with funds, but instead it would have cost about $100,000 according to the current owner to restore it. No one came up with the funds, and that site was lost forever. The only thing left on the Michael Fiscel farm, of course, as we talked about in earlier videos, is the stones from the foundation of the barn, which you can see here in this photograph here. And then, of course, the still living witness tree is really the only thing still alive left here from the Michael Fiscel farm. This has been an exclusive Gettysburg Battlefield Facebook Secret to the Battlefield Field Hospital video, the 5th Corps Field Hospital, the Michael Fiscel farm, part 5 on Gettysburg Battlefield Facebook.